Powerhouses of the corporate stage. I want to thank you all so much for joining us on our podcast. Again, this is a recognition of all of us who are corporate inspiration. And a corporate inspiration is someone who is working hard in corporate America, whether they are the trainers, the quality insurance, the customer services, the janitors. It doesn't matter. Everyone has a role to play in corporate America, in corporate in the UK, Australia. And I'm really honored to have this individual on our show today. I want to thank you so much for joining. And he is our guest number two, lucky number two. Everybody is lucky for having the connection of being on here. But wanted to say thank you. And could you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and be able to provide some insights about you and your own podcast and some of the things that you're doing?
Absolutely. Well, my name is CJ Horn. It's a pleasure to be here. First and foremost, I truly appreciate what you're doing and creating your space where there is space to be taken. So I'm glad that you took the step to take the space. My name is CJ Horn. I am originally from Kansas City, Kansas, dealing with the Powerhouse. I do have a podcast called The 3% Show that I'm currently building. I used to say that it's ground roots, basically a ground roots podcast, but through
Yeah.
incredible knowledge and opportunity, I've found places where I can actually make it blow and grow. And my thing is, I believe that people will tell you 97% of the truth, and that's admirable. However, most of the things, like the 3% that's unspoken, normally holds the key and the power as far as what has gotten you this far, what's inspiring you, what's driving you, no matter joy or pain. So, my podcast is basically to invite people on to have those conversations because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to have these conversations because you might reach somebody, and I'm truly a fan of people.
Yay, I love that. And I'm so proud of you for saying that. I had the honor of being on the 3% show.
Excellent.
So definitely I will run these back to back, give people a taste of what they missed because that was a really empowering conversation. And
Yeah,
so I want
there.
to say thank you. And what he did not share is that we both grew up in Kansas City and we now live in Houston, Texas. But I never met him, never knew him before. So really honored that he has considered me a family and we've been able to really just empower each other. And that's one of the things that is so crucial. If you are considering being a corporate inspiration, your tribe, your community of people to spur you on and push you
Mhm.
forward, as CJ likes to say, it's his day twos. It's not necessarily the people who are your day ones. It's the day twos who may push you forward amongst other people who you may knew and grew up with. But you
Absolutely.
will recognize the people as you build your network and things that those will be the ones to do it. So
Mhm.
I am Lovely Marshall. I am the accelerator for Powerhouses, where we welcome powerhouses of the global corporate stage. And a powerhouse is someone who is dynamic, effective, and unstoppable in achieving
Stop.
success. So if that is you, we welcome you to the podcast. If that is not you and you're questioning like, who am I, what do I do, like, I still welcome you so that way we can be able to empower you and uplift you up because everybody needs that.
Absolutely.
So getting to the first question of the night,
Mm.
Mr. J. Davis, could you tell us what are you currently doing in the corporate stage, and what was it that you wanted to do when you were a kid?
Mm. Currently, I work with visas and passports as far as helping people expedite passports if they need help with that. Just dealing anything with travel. It's a great job actually because I've learned so much. I know places that I want to travel, and even dealing with dual citizenship that's crossed my mind. I believe that God placed me at this position to be able to understand things, and just I love to travel. Growing up, Growing up, I've always wanted to do two major things. One, I wanted to be a history teacher that actually dressed up for class to really get the kids
Wow.
involved in history to understand things versus just textbooks. Because as we know, textbooks are becoming obsolete and the information in it. But the other thing I've always wanted to do, I wanted to be Donnie Simpson on Video Soul. I wanted to be a disc jockey,
Oh, I love that.
be
Did
on.
anybody say that?
I wanted to be Donnie Simpson. I wanted to be on the radio. I believe that radio has always had power. Before we had social media, you relied on interviews, you relied on music to understand what was going on in different places and even over the pond and overseas and everything. So, radio is my true desire.
Yay, I love that. Donnell, I love that. That's so cool. That's so cool. I think that that's so interesting because I am learning the people who are on this podcast and just people you meet in general, how what they wanted to be when they grew up versus what they're doing now, but how impactful and empowering it is that you just get inspired. I did not know that you worked with visas and passports, and I've been knowing you for a while, so that's really cool.
What I do, I hear a lot of stories. I understand the ins and outs because people have to understand if you're from America, to travel to other countries and different things, you have to go according to their laws and
Mhm.
culture. So it's best that services that I render give them the correct information to travel safely, make sure everything is correct. But I mean, you will be amazed at some of the places people are going and the reasons. So I truly enjoy dealing with people, the unknown, everyday questions. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is so, so cool. Yeah, I love that. I love that. I am amazed about the different opportunities that we have out here, which is why I think that it's great. A lot of shows and podcasts, they focus on, oh, well, I made $1 billion and I did this, but like we have everyday corporate inspirations who are making the world a better place. So for those of you all who love to travel, you need your visas, you trying to go and get things, you have Mr. CJ to thank because of the work that he does in his team and training and all of that, like the work that he does. That is a really great way for you all to be able to have that travel. So I want to say thank you because I've been able to travel and go different places. So we're getting to the tough question. This is a tough question here. How has it been leveraging LinkedIn, and has LinkedIn been impactful for your career?
So, okay, the running joke is I was born in the late 1900s. So when I graduated, the internet had just took off. So for me, being computer savvy, I never thought of it. I was always hard working with my hands, sign papers to get interviews and more. However, as time changed, I chose not to keep up with the steps. So due to progress as far as the way that the world is going, I was kind of behind. But talking to Lovely, talking to more people, I understand that LinkedIn is a great vehicle in order to, number one, be able to keep up with the current events as far as jobs or information, and to be able to apply and get great jobs and also network and grow. So Lovely has really inspired me. Number one, because it's only been around 2 months. Number one, she's put me on there, but more than anything, it's been okay. I get more notifications on here versus social media on Facebook, so I can really see the chatter and the growth that's happening. But I think I'm truly going to enjoy it and going to fill out my profile picture because I get nervous. That's something with success. Some people love success. My biggest fear is success. Finding out
Oh, wow.
is something I talked to my therapist about, and they said it's an entire chapter about it. So I realized once I realized that I wasn't weird or scared or it's a thing, now I'm able to go and kind of move around in those spaces safely and feel secure. And then now I'm ready to go for what I feel I deserve to have.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And I think that's really encouraging to people that some people like, they like, oh, I gotta have success. And then to your point, being afraid of success, that's a real thing,
Absolutely.
and being honest about it. And you said so much within so little time. So you said, I talked to my therapist about it.
Mhm.
Wow, that's a great segment of, especially being in corporate, about having therapy, and then someone who is a minority and who is a man to have a therapist. So that is really very encouraging. So kudos to you. How would you say having that intersection of having a therapist really has helped you to be open now for other career opportunities?
Um, I believe, well, number one, Renisha's done a great job. I
Mhm,
she knows me, but I
mhm,
think that for me, I think that men go through things. Period. You'll hear a lot of times black men go through things through the world, and it's true. But the thing I think that most people don't understand, or even some men don't understand, men are more emotional than a lot of other people. We're just now in this space where we're able to understand that it's okay to be emotional. But depending on your age bracket, what do you do with it? How do you how do you detach yourself away from what was taught to you growing up or what you felt being a man was?
right,
So
right.
therapy, only if you take it serious. The first time I tried therapy, I told half lies and I felt halfway better. Truth's back.
Mm.
But when you find
Half
that there,
lies, guys, half lies. So you have to tell the truth
yeah,
when you're talking to your therapist.
and it was just something that she allowed me to understand my whys, such as my biggest thing that I love to do is podcasting. Before podcasting was a thing, obviously it was radio. So I felt that me trying to get people to like, subscribe, and all of these great things, I felt like I was literally begging. But in essence, she had me understand that no, that's your why. You want to give great information. You don't want to have to search for the biggest grand stage or do the most. You want to deal with the everyday person. And she reassured that I feel like our great leaders are the same people that's in your community. They just don't have a voice versus a pedestal
Yes.
on. So in giving that and understanding that and talking to close friends, I do understand that therapy is a beautiful thing to have a non-biased opinion. What you put into it is what you will get out of it, especially
Yeah.
working in corporate America with stress, depending on where you work.
Yes.
If it's the
Yeah.
case,
I think there is stress at every corporate America job, and we're gonna learn that from every person. That's a question later that we have for you too.
absolutely. So therapy is wonderful. I encourage it. I encourage it for your family if you work long hours. I encourage it if you're married or even in relationships. Therapy is a beautiful struggle, and we just here to live it. So, one,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to put you on the best path forward, and you can always
Yeah.
therapist for who works for you.
Yeah, I really love that. And I think as we talked about it, like sometimes people don't have a stage to share their story, which is why I created the powerhouses of the global corporate stage. For those of you all who are just tuning in, we have a guest, CJ, here who helps us all be able to travel and have passports and visas. And we're just really just sharing stories from corporate inspiration because we believe here at Lovely is your story, that your story is needed to be recognized, and we have so many incredible men and women who are doing things behind the scenes, and so we're
Absolutely.
just pulling back the curtains and giving them their spotlight and the recognition that they deserve, as well as trying to understand, like, how do people get here, what are their goals? How can we help them? And by sharing their story, like if we know somebody and we're connected to someone, then they can be able to have their dream realized. So I
Exactly.
thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show and being able to share your insights and how you're hoping to get better with LinkedIn. So regarding your role as being a visa and passport and helping with that, like how did you get this opportunity? Did you apply for it? Was it a referral? Did you get recruited? And then tell us, like, do you work from home, or do you have to go into the office because people are looking for remote opportunities?
Well, I got it referred from a friend. It was a situation where I was at one job and I had just moved to Houston. Only been here for about 4 years, and the current job I had was excellent, great people, but it just wasn't a fit for me. So in that time, just for me networking with people out and about and having great friends, they said, "Hey, maybe you want to try this company." And I tried the company, and I was scared at first because it's been a while since I did anything dealing with customer service. But once I got on the calls, and shout out to great jobs who actually train people from the basics. So when you pick it up, I became more and more encouraging. I started off simple customer service, but then again, probably about 6 months to a year later, I was doing concierge calls and really dealing one on one with people who needed that hand to hand experience. So I was referred, I grew within the company. I assist with training new hires. So it's barely been iron sharpens irons because it keeps me,
Yeah.
can get repetitions at a company.
Yes.
Lexical, you can get lazy with it, but
Yes.
really challenged me. My mind state, my trainers, my managers, my
Mhm.
really challenged me to be the best authentic person that I can be every day.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. To know that your network can really help you with connections. And I shared this earlier regarding like connections and conversations. When you are having a conversation, they can connect you with amazing opportunities, career opportunities, clients. Like conversations
Hmm.
is the key. When you have a conversation, it turns into connections, clients, careers. I think it really does all start with a conversation. And I know even for my life, it has been so significant because what he didn't share is I was sharing with him, like, hey, I'm starting a business and I want to do these amazing things. And he was like, oh my God, I got the best place for you to go to, and you can bring your kids. And like I brought my dad, and now so it's a three-generation experience of something, of just having a conversation, of me saying like, hey, I'm great at this company as a W-2 employee, but I want to see what I can do as a founder. Who can I meet and what are the things that I can do? And so from that conversation, he then connected me to amazing opportunities. And I really want to give a shout out to the Houston Public Library. That is just a phenomenal thing. I mean, they have LinkedIn Learning. I got to shout out LinkedIn. They have LinkedIn Learning free courses. They have this tech link where we did this podcast that I'm going to share. And he's done so many amazing things. I saw your picture about, you're not being afraid of the dreams. And again, it was because you connected me, and then I end up connecting you to other, opportunities. And it's a real thing. So just wanted to tell you, like, thank you, and thank you to the Houston Public Library.
Absolutely. Shout out to TechLink, Ken, CJ. I just finished a class where I'm learning how to do actual TV shows. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a blessing.
Yeah, yeah. Oh wow, I didn't know they had that. So now I have to go and check that one out. It's incredible of the resources that are available to you. And again, like you said, we're pulling back the curtains. People want to understand, how do I get that? How do I move forward? What can I be able to do? And you are oftentimes lost at where to go next, but it's the conversations that turn into the connections, and it's really those intricate moments that really make things so meaningful. And so I want to thank you for stating that, and thank you for sharing that with me. Like I tell people, sometimes you have to tell your dreams to people, because when you share your dreams, it's amazing of what can be able to happen when you take the opportunity to share your dream. So my next question to you is, what would you say would be the job of your dreams? Like right now, if I was a recruiter and I was
Mhm.
reaching out to you, looking at your LinkedIn profile, what would be the job? What would be the job title for your headline that it would say for you that you inspired people like because you finally like did it and achieved it? So I definitely want to do that because there are people who could potentially listening to this and like, oh wow,
Right.
I didn't know he had that. We have an open job right now on LinkedIn available for you to apply to.
Um, I don't know what I would say as far as the title. It used to be I was always like the movie Boomerang. Just let me be Eddie Murphy. Let me take the clients out and sell the dream, whatever the case might be. But I truly mean, I truly think that authentically, I'm a person of the people. You know, if I had a title, I would put that I'm a person who believes in there's too many humans and enough humane people. So I don't know what the title would be, but I just know that I can finally, at this point in my life, say that I'm awesome and excellent in almost everything that I do and touch, once trained right, or just basically being me. And I'm excited to just get the word out. I mean, I'm still looking to be on radio. I love radio, period. But I think I just want to inspire people that are overlooked more than anything.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
have conversations that may, if 10 people in the room, if one get it, all I ask you to do is pay it forward. And I believe
Yeah.
we're in this powerhouse thing, and you're inspiring me to be able to say, hey, you do great work, but you deserve to get what you deserve from giving out gems, from doing it.
Absolutely.
My entire life, and my friends, the twins, tell me, you're brilliant, but you need to take care of A, B, and C and be able to know how to market what you do instead of just giving everything away for free. And I'm always give it away for free, but the fear of success, because you find out who you truly are. Once you're successful, you really find out who you are versus who you try to be. And that's my thing. I just want to give. I just want to inspire people. I just want people to understand that I'm always going to be the same, but growth does happen and we evolve. And now I'm in the space where I feel I deserve to achieve and to be appreciated and validated the way I'm supposed to.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. I love that. So I heard you say about radio that
Mm-hmm.
that will be something that is cool. I feel like there's quite a few, especially on LinkedIn. There are radio producers, there is the community managers, of course, the agents and the presence, the traffic people,
Mm-hmm.
it's the production team, all of that. They're all literally on LinkedIn because I was really excited about just seeing the various roles that they have available. So I think that that would be great. I think I could title this about, radio hosts looking for a dynamic people to join their team. Like we have it here it is, the man of the 3% show. Like we will be able to have it. So I think that's really cool to say that, and especially considering what radio is. Like radio is really all about giving people a voice and being able to aspire. And I love that you still like have this passion. Like as you were talking, it just was like it was a different shift. So that is really amazing.
Absolutely. And it's funny how you talk about ask questions. Even in my current position I had, it was a supervisor named Eric that number one told me, hey, we listen to your calls that you have with people. He was like, you got a great voice. He does voiceovers. He told me for 2 years to do voiceovers. And when it comes to the fear of success and things of the nature, I never took off with it. But now, if I can rewind the time, which I cannot, I've learned from, okay, let's not look in the past, let's move forward. So I've really embraced my natural voice and my natural gift of being able to communicate and talk. And maybe that's what led me to train. But he really inspired me to do my first podcast. And ever since then, I just keep trying to find different guests and keep moving. So yes,
Yeah, yeah. So it looks like we have two asks from our networks. Number one, we're looking for podcast guests to be on the 3% show. And
absolutely.
then the
Okay,
second thing is if you are looking for voiceovers for your podcast, if you are looking for voiceovers for your introduction videos, we have someone right here in our community. He is going to be a LinkedIn powerhouse. Right now, he's a LinkedIn novice. He's figuring it out. He's being introduced to it. He hasn't got his launch pad yet, but he's gonna accelerate.
Promise.
But you'll definitely be able to connect with him. Huh?
I said, I promise you, I'm going to work on that.
Yes, yes, we're gonna work on it together. It's gonna be amazing. But I think that that is really, really cool. I think my question to you that I have as one of our question is, how do you manage your stress and being able to like maintain excellence? Because everybody's talking about, like, you got to be excellent, you got to be excellent, and that puts on a level of stress. So how do you manage your stress? Like, what advice would you have for people who are like, hey, I'm a corporate inspiration too, but I
Yeah.
don't feel like it's something, I'm doing well?
I think for me, stress is whatever you truly allow to get to you. As much as I tell people, for years before I had therapy, I felt like I was living in a world where I was anorexic and the world was obese, but I continued to feel it, feed everybody with a wooden spoon. So I never would accept the import of love and to be poured into. So with that, I always felt like I was holding my breath above water. For stress, I just took the time to, number one, give myself grace. I had to learn to give myself grace because I was so busy stressing over what I didn't have versus the great community I have around me. And I had to understand my job is not to keep up with the Joneses. I had to understand that being human is an emotional struggle and emotional period. But more than anything, I had to learn how to work out more. I know when I'm stressing, I'll eat. I'm an eater. I listen to music. So to deter myself and to curb, I learned that discipline, have a schedule, set a schedule for yourself, no matter if it's 15 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour. Do something that you normally wouldn't do. Find something that you never thought that you dreamed to love of. Me, I do photography. I love photography with this iPhone. I'm real good. I've always loved it. But for stress, I read, I listen to music, make playlists, and I just have great conversations with people who I feel who will pour into me. Dealing with
Yeah.
stress, one of the biggest things, because growing up, I was an All American athlete playing basketball, and I never gave 100% at that. And for some,
Yeah.
was to make the NBA, and I thought of it, but I never played
Hmm.
100% because I never wanted to give
Right.
that that full effort. I was always nervous.
Hmm.
It's a lot that goes into that. So stress is always
Yeah.
me, but I'm learning to breathe above water, uh,
Yeah.
exercising, um, getting back into church. I felt so
Mm.
was dealing with God, and you feel that
Mhm.
connection. So that's what I do. I just say challenge yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to
Yeah.
get over yourself to find out
Mhm.
who you really are meant to be, and that's why
Mhm.
I'm over the small box I used to put myself in to be humble,
Yeah.
to accept greatness.
Good deal. I love it. To accept greatness. That is so amazing. And I think stress is truly a silent killer. I know for myself, I posted about it, like y'all see my skin is looking real good right now. But I talked about how, the stress of being in a toxic work environment, and my face just like was off. I actually need to do like a before and a after. And you don't realize all the things that stress does to you. Like, you don't eat, you don't sleep really. Like, I remember I was so stressed that I was like, waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Did I forget to send that email? Did I forget to do this? It was awful. And I didn't realize what it was doing to me until one day, like, I just looked in the mirror and I was like, dang, like, what's on your skin? Like, what's going wrong?
Yeah.
Like, it
Hmm.
it it really, it just pours out of you. Like you said, like, you give so much of yourself that you don't realize that you yourself is anorexic or like starving or
Right.
really hurting. And I think the number one thing that most people don't even do is because right now it's like, "Oh, I'm stressed out, but I'm managing it." It's like, "No,
Right.
actually you're not. It's harming you.
Prolong.
It's really impacting you." And so if you're not managing it, and what are you doing? Because what you think you're managing, like, it's not helping. So what are other things that you can do to move forward? So I appreciate you, like, sharing that, like, your tactics and things that you do. And I think it works different for different people. For
Absolutely.
me, I need to get up and walk. I am used to sitting down all day long, and I could just go and go and go at it, especially, because you're passionate about it. And I'm like, nope, take a break, get up, go and
Mhm.
walk, clear your mind. And, that's really has helped me in
And I was
overcoming feeling stressful.
and I will say that sometimes it's okay to take advice, but take advice from the right people. And what I mean by that is sometimes people can literally tell that you're stressing out because a lot of times when you're stressed, sometimes you know it, but sometimes you are the very last person to know. So if you know someone
Ooh,
truly
so true.
loves you and cares about you, sometimes it's okay to listen to their words after the third time. They may be kind,
Third time,
they
right?
getting more aggressive. So don't feel that it's rude. It's just that's what genuine love looks like. You know what I'm saying? I tell people if you want to know the truth, ask your real friends. But if you don't want to know the truth, ask some other friends. So you have to
Yeah, that's
analyze
true.
in your life. In
Yeah.
the aspect that you do have to compartmentalize as far as compartmentalize things as far as your job. They always say you don't
Mhm.
leave your job home. I work from home, so as soon as
Yeah.
I'm ready to
I
run. So I'm
know, it's there, yep.
so
Mhm.
yeah, it's different
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, that's so true. I agree with that. So if you all are just joining in, we are the powerhouses of the global corporate stage, where we invite corporate inspirations from around the globe, around the globe. So if you're in South Africa, New Zealand, if you are in India, Palestine, wherever you are at, Dubai, I would love to have Dubai on here. All of the powerhouses of the global corporate stage. We want those who are the corporate inspirations, from the janitors, the secretary, the sales managers, the product managers, the principals and quality insurance people, the designers, every single person. We want you to come on here and share your story. And you will help other people, like, understand, like, how are you doing it? How did you get your opportunity? You'll even help to enlighten me, because I didn't know that roles existed. And so you could be able to help someone else. So I invite you all to join in for
Uh,
our second to the last question that we have.
uh,
Is one of my favorite quotes of all times, is that I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. And it's by Maya Angelou. And for me, as a corporate inspiration, working in Facebook at other high companies, it was literally just me. I was one Black woman on the team of like 200, and everybody else had their own tribe. They had the Asians and Southeast Asians, and they had people who they could connect with, but it was just me, just one Black woman. That was it. And so it was like, yeah, I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. Like, you see me here and you see this girl who's speaking proudly and can lead. It's because I have 10,000 people who are here with me, the people who wanted to have this job and they couldn't get it. And so I have 10,000 people here with me. And that has really helped me overcome the stress and be able to move forward on the day to day, when I worked in corporate. So I love that quote by Maya Angelou. So what's your quote?
oh, I only have two quotes. One from Michael Baisden, and I found out about this at the Big 12 convention. Shout out to Dean Lee at Kansas City, Kansas Community College. We were the only junior college that went to the Big 12 conference for university. But Michael Basin said, "You can lie to anybody, but you can't lie to yourself."
Ooh, you can lie to anybody, but you can't lie to yourself. I love that.
I internalized that, we can tell everybody everything in the world, but if we're not living in our truth, that has a tendency of dragging us, digging in us, and it can actually like break you. So when I heard that, I said, you know what? Let me stop telling half truths, and let me start being more real with myself. And that was the first leap that I took to understanding communication is everything. Love is overrated. One of my quotes: "Love is overrated. Communication is everything." Because through that, I can learn to like you, I can learn to know you, I can learn to love you and fall in love. But you
Oh,
have
I love that. I love that. I love that. So our last question that we have
ooh,
is, let me see, because someone left it for you. Because we asked these questions about like, what is the question that you want to ask your next guest on the show? Because um I love this from the Diary of the CEO. So the question that you were asked to be asked by the person who was previously on the show was, "What's next
they was
for
talking about.
your future self?" Huh?
Was that the young lady who was talking about love and careers?
No, 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 no. This one was the one for Bold Moves. Bold Moves.
Oh,
So, yeah. So she said the question that she had for you is, "What's next for your future self?"
ooh, very easy to build this podcast. The 3% Show, I feel, is an amazing opportunity. Not necessarily for me, but to get information out. Applying myself, self application is key. So moving forward to do the 3% Show, to be able to podcast, to be able to do live shows, and just inform people in different climates, no matter if it's dealing with the government and voting, no matter if it's dealing with fashion, no matter if it's dealing with trauma.
Yeah.
Forward, I vow to myself, because I owe myself that much. Like you always said, can I afford to, if I were to leave this world today, can
Yeah.
I not to bet? So I'm gambling. I'm a gambling man, and I'm betting on myself.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And so when she asked that, I was like, oh, okay, that's a good question. So I think for me, what's next for my future self is I've been saying this forever, guys. So y'all gonna help me out with this. But to get on 25 stages for 2025, I got two stages. So I need 23 more stages for 2025 in order for it to be. And I want to thank AMA Houston for accepting me to be their guest. And then I'm also speaking in April on the same stage as Oprah. Like, I'm so excited about that. So I want to thank the DEI Council team for accepting me and being a part of it. So if you are planning for your conferences, TED Talks, need testimonials, workshop facilities, definitely help me in getting my strategic priority for 25 stages for 2025. I'm so excited. So before we leave,
And I,
Mr. CJ,
and I,
what's the question for you?
if I find out any more stages that I feel worthy and acceptable, I want to add to that 25. So from
Yeah,
me on here, I'm always going to look out for you, because I think you're
yeah, absolutely.
a incredible job. And when I use the word immaculate, I mean that.
Thank you. Yeah, I was like, immaculate. I like that. So for you, what's your question that you want to ask our next guest?
Hmm. The next question for the next guest, who I do not know.
Mhm.
Um, are you truly being authentic to yourself in the growth that you're inspiring to have?
Are you truly being authentic to yourself? I love that. Oh, I love that. So, our next guest that we will be having on the show tomorrow. They got it coming in. I want to thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all for listening in on the Powerhouses of the global corporate stage, where we welcome corporate inspirations from around the globe to be able to share their story, from overlooked and undervalued to triumph, to them trying to get on radios and being able to get additional guests for their 3% show. Like, we welcome you all. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And until